The conflict is between Cuba and the United States because Cuba is trying to become communist with the help of the USSR. And the United States launched the Truman Doctrine, which is a plan which purpose is the stopping of the spread of communism, in which the USSR had influence. Fidel Castro was on control of the Cuban government. He wasn't communist or capitalist, but he had socialist ideals. He had a good relationship with the United States and started nationalizing Cuba's industries. In Cuba, we can see the interference of the United States, and the people are now suffering because of that, and right now they are very poor because of what the United States is doing.
Korea used to be controlled by Japan. After World War II, USSR and United States started to control Korea. The North was controlled by USSR, which was a communist type of government, and the South used to be controlled by United States, which was an anti-communist type of government. The opposite types of ideologies led to a war which was known as the Korean War. In Korea, we can see that the people obviously are going to be affected by this war, started by the intervention of US and USSR. It is very likely that Korea is going to have a massive damage in their economy and infrastructure because of the artillery and destruction of the country. We can notice that this country might separate due to the interference of US and USSR in opposite ideologies which are capitalism and communism.
The conflict in Darfur started since the independence of Africa. The nation was divided into sections, the North and the South. The North had Aryan Muslim origins and the South had Black Catholic origins. The group in Darfur is a combination of both because they are Black and Muslim. They are found in the west of Sudan in Africa. When the President al-Bashir took power, the ideology of superior races started. The North communities started a big genocide against black races because they considered them inferior. The homes of many civilians were burned, the resources of the people were stolen, and the women were raped or killed. The police officers that were in charge of the massacre were called the Janjaweed, an informal group commanded by the President al-Bashir. The conflict still remains in our days and no other country has taken action. The civilians of Darfur are refugees in their own nations. The economic damages are huge, and people there is afraid all the time. The Mexican drug problem has no exact origin, but we can see an increment of it in the year 90s. During this decade, many powerful drug lords caused violence and committed crimes all over the nation, and they were basically unstoppable. The reason of this was because the problem was treated lightly by the government. There are many suspicions that this was caused by corruption. The drug dealers buy the opinion of many politicians and police officers so they won't be attacked. This provoked death, a big wave violence and kidnappings. One of the most famous drug lords that was active during this period was Joaquín Guzmán Loera, known as the Chapo. He was a member of the Cartel de Sinaloa. He corrupted the police and entire cities for protection. He got a big rivalry with the Cartel of Tijuana, that was in charge of the brothers Felix. The war between these two groups caused many innocent people death, and a lot of violence was happening where the war between these two gangs encountered. So it was until the government of Felipe Calderón Hinojosa where there was a certain war or military action against these groups of criminals. It was until 2014 when Joaquín Guzmán Loera was captured during the charge of the President Enrique Peña Nieto. He was condemned into a life of prison. Still in our days, small drug dealers keep fighting and cause violence and chaos in all Mexico.